Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our channel, Paws on Animation.
Today we're covering the first live-action Ben 10 movie, Race Against Time.
Yes, this movie shows the events of Ben getting used to normal life after summer ends in Bellwood. But trouble rises, of course, when a new villain, Eon, who's not really a threat, is seeking to destroy Ben.
Right? Before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, notification with these on future podcasts and one of Paws videos.
Yes. Now, when I say Eon isn't a threat, I don't mean the character. Unfortunately, I mean the actor. But we'll get into that. Let's get started. Did you ever see this movie when it originally aired? Let us know in the comments below.
Yes. Well, I can say I definitely did. It was a big TV event for everyone who will watch the regular series. And it seemed like Cartoon Network did this twice. Once with this, and another time years later with Alien Swarm. Both meant to be a big event for the channel and for people who love the show by doing something bigger in live action. However, much as they tried, just like with I think Alien Swarm and Race Against Time, they at least are putting effort into the movies. It wasn't the best movie for Ben 10. I think I still prefer Secret of the Omnitrix, but you could tell at least there was some effort to write a story and make it like you're watching the cartoon. I can say that way more for this than with other shows and movies that do live action adaptations. And being one of the biggest things about it is, at least they kept the music, they kept the watch accurate. The kid actually looked a bit like Ben and acted like him.
And so did Gwen, and so did Grandpa.
Yes. And yeah, they did have more effort into this, and there were some things that were different later in the show when you got to Alien Force. They were different from the classic series, like how the plumbers were. They kind of made it look like they were like an old regime still around when it was a little more complicated than that, but it was fine for what they had for the TV movie. And this is where Eon was introduced. You see him later again in Ultimate Alien and Omniverse. And this is where the character is introduced, and they confirm it is part of the franchise and the timeline, but as they say, it's like a different timeline where that one existed, and he's been going through different timelines of Ben. So when you hear an Ultimate Alien, they're referring to this movie as being part of another timeline.
So originally, this movie aired for the first time November 21st, 2007. It was February in the UK. And the budget for this movie, believe it or not, was $5 million during that time, which was a heck of a lot more money than we expected it to have been made with.
Yeah, true.
It ran for 67 minutes, and most of the people who were in it, the main characters, were not big stars at the time. Graham Phillips was Ben, Christian Anholt, Haley Him. The big star in here was actually Lee Majors, who played Grandpa Max.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
And for us, he's the best live-action Grandpa Max. He sounded like him, he acted like him, he looked like him, much better than the other live-action movies.
Yes, and
Aliens. You couldn't figure out why they chose the actor. Nothing wrong with the actor. Right. He just wasn't right for the role.
Right.
And so in this movie, it opens in Austin, Bellwood.
Yeah. And we're here.
And they start using some of the special effects mainly with people.
Yes. And at least in here, Ben turns into at least 4 aliens. And it kind of became a running joke for people that Ben 10 could turn into a mini aliens he wanted animation constantly, all the time. But in live action, it was always limited to a few. And it started getting to a point where Ben almost didn't turn into an alien. And here he turned to Heat Blast, Diamond Head, Gray Matter, and Wildman. They were like the easiest to do. They didn't require a whole lot of movement action from the characters. And for Heat Blast, it was kind of obvious that they did not want to use the $5 million to animate his Fire Blast. He spat a little bit of fire, then he started karate kicking and punching, and suddenly he was hand to hand. It was like, no! But no, it's like, no, we can't use all that fire effects. Just start kicking the bad guys. We'll make it work.
That being said, I have to say, as I've said before, that what Cartoon Network did with the live-action Ben 10 movies was something that people weren't doing at the time.
Right.
We also mentioned that we think they did a really great job in trying to stay close as possible to how the characters were drawn and animated.
Yes.
They did great casting here, Gwen and Ben.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they really were close. Ben's hair just needed to be put down, slicked down, and they were fine. They both had the same hair color, eye color. They really embodied the characters.
Yeah.
And they were the greatest Grandpa Max. And you had, as you said, other puppets who were his friends who didn't exist in the series, but they did a good job in bringing it about.
Right.
Unfortunately for us, the worst part of the series,
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry, not series, of this movie, unfortunately, was the actor who portrayed Eon, Christian. Sorry, no offense, maybe this was his first role, maybe he just wasn't used to doing this type of roles, but his entire performance was static.
Oh my gosh.
And it was just painful to watch. He couldn't bring about, showing you anger and all these other emotions. It just didn't work.
And then Ben had an accent later. I was like, where did that come from?
And exactly. It's like, yeah, where did he get a British accent? And that would have made it a little better if they had had him do an American accent. But no, they didn't. They chose to just go with it. So, is this one case where it wasn't the writing, it was actually the performance? And maybe he got better, or he is known for doing other types of work. But unfortunately, in this movie, Eon was the worst character.
Yeah.
It was just, they didn't.
Right. And like I said, they tried. They really were trying. It was just unfortunately the villain was the weakest part. They were building up to be this great, big enemy and threat to Ben. He was supposed to be Ben if it had gone wrong, but in this version, however, he's an alien. So somehow he was able to just mess with the watch, put his DNA in it, transform Ben into a younger Eon, and then use his body. And it starts getting a little more complicated towards the end of this film on how this character is supposed to work, which is probably why they didn't bring him back for many years, because they needed to rework him.
Now, as for the actor, we want to say that he is known on stage and screen in England. He's done a lot of the classical roles. He's also been in Doctor Who and so forth. Maybe this just wasn't, again, the role for him.
Right.
It just didn't work. It didn't come off like Eon. It just didn't work. And clearly he's got acting talent and can perform in a number of roles. But the Ben 10 role wasn't for him. So actually he was another star that actually was in the movie we didn't know about.
Right.
So again, that happens. You have some people that are cast like Grandpa Max in the
Alien Swarm movie.
Yes, who he didn't work. It wasn't anything wrong with that actor. He just wasn't the actor for the role. And I think for Ben 10, it was the same with Anne Holt. He just wasn't the actor for this role.
Right.
So, unfortunately, it stood out amongst the other performances and what was going on. That being said, I still think this is a great movie. Yes, it had its flaws. Yes, it had things that could have made them better. But again, when this was being done, studios weren't making made-for-TV movies, big budget like this, based on network shows. They're making live action movies.
Right.
So they did something that no one was doing. Man of Action, of course, Andre McDuffie provided the content.
Right.
You had, I think the director was Alex Winter.
Yes.
And he made an appearance which we thought was funny. So it was for Bill and Ted to direct it, which was awesome. And I think it was great.
It wasn't
for the time that it came out and what was available then.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah. I think now it would be like just a little bit cheesy, but in a good way. Like, it's just a fun little campy movie, because Ben 10 had campiness to it. It was still a serious show. It has some dark elements to it, and they try to keep that in here. But it did fit sort of the tone that it would have when it wasn't fighting the aliens and things. And they even had the same music from the show. The watch was 1-to-1. They got a kid that actually looked like Ben.
And they had a great version of the Ben 10 theme done for the movie.
Yes.
It's one of the best known versions.
Yes. And this is really a testament to just how strong the writing can be. Even when it's not at its peak, it still can give out a decent story and plot. And like I said, they had 2 live action movies, and we are getting a live action series at some point. So while we're expected to be good, we do have some hopes that it actually is good and not ends up being really, really bad, because these were not bad movies. They were just flawed, but they were fun, and there was everyone into them. These were more appreciated for trying to make something like the show rather than overhauling it and wanting to make something new or someone else's version of a character that they have no idea what they're making for.
Actually, I'm excited about the live action series because I want to see what's going to happen. This is something they haven't done before. They are stepping into new territory. We know Dwayne McDuffie isn't with them, so it's going to be something different from everything they did from the classic Ben 10, Alien Force Alien. It's got to be different from the Ben 10 reboot. It's got to be different from Omniverse. So I'm excited to see what it's going to be like. We know that they've done great work in the past. So I personally am excited and can't wait to see what it's going to be like. As long as it's not like the movie and the specials they had after the Ben 10 reboot, Ben 10,
Yeah.
then I will be fine.
Right. Oh, and if you haven't already, subscribe for updates and we can videos on your favorite anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Lastly, I want to give a shout out to some of the great voice actors who voice some of the aliens in here.
Oh, yes.
Carlos Alazarki as Grey Matter, Darren Norris as Diamond Head, D. Bradley Baker as
Yes.
Wildman. So definitely wanted to give them a shout out because D. Bradley Baker could have been everyone, but I decided to do a different route.
Right, because that's how it was done in the original. So that part is understandable this time.
So if you've seen Ben 10, let us know what you think. If you've seen Ben 10, Race Against Time, the movie, let us know what you think in the comments below. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Was it meh? What do you think? Do you see it when it originally aired? Or did you see it like I did many, many, many years later?
Right.
And come to appreciate it for what it has to offer. And if you haven't seen it, you have to do like we did. We bought it actually used on Amazon. We got it for $1.99 plus $2.99 shipping, so it was a great buy.
Right.
In excellent condition. So yeah, just get on there and get it. If you're a Ben 10 fan and you love the franchise, owning all parts or owning all versions, all movies, I should say, all movies in the series is a goal. So we're really very happy and grateful that we got this movie.
Yes.
Because now we own it, we can see it again anytime we want. And it's really a testament to the franchise itself. It's a great franchise. They've
Yes.
had some hiccups, they've made some changes that some fans like and some fans don't. But overall, the Ben 10 franchise is here to stay. It is an iconoclast. It was something different than the one that had ever done. Great writers, great producers and creators with Man of Action and Dwayne McDuffie. Cartoon Network, I will give them credit for being smart enough to keep this franchise and not let someone else just
Right.
it up.
Selling it out. Yep.
Absolutely.
So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Rask Entertainment.
And at Mom Entertainment,
Have a fantastic day.